Yo, 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 what up, YouTube? Alright, so today I'm about to react to the original plans for Thunderbolts, aka the original plans for the new Avengers film. So yeah, let's see what the movie was gonna be, and let's see what actually stood over from the original draft. I mean, from the original film. Alright, let's go.
What if John Walker was the villain in Thunderbolts instead of Sentry? Not only that, what if Taskmaster survived, the team featured Man-Thing instead of Bucky, and the whole movie took place in the vault a la Die Hard? Believe it or not, all of those
Okay,
things almost happened. To find out how we went from that to the movie we know, let's
that's a big
dive in and take a
difference.
look
Yeah,
at
that's
what
a
could have
big
been
difference.
Thunderbolts. Many fans were disappointed by Taskmaster's treatment in Black Widow. In the comics, she's a he, and he's a funny,
Yeah, in the books.
wisecracking.
I didn't care that it was a female. I was mad that it was the personality was completely different from what it is in the comics. Like he's about to say right now, the personality for Taskmaster in the comics is completely different from what they try to do in the movie, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
And charismatic in Black Widow. In the comics, she's a he, and he's a funny, wisecracking, and charismatic
Yes.
mercenary with photographic
Yep.
reflexes, able to mimic any opponent's fighting style in seconds. But the film reimagined the character as a quiet, emotionless enforcer, stripped of that trademark personality.
Yeah, and I think the way Taskmaster and Black Widow was able to um replicate the fight moves of other heroes and villains. I think in Black Widow it was because she had like something in her head that could record fights and they saved it like in her memory in her brain. Yeah, I like that.
What could have been a dynamic, scene stealing villain instead felt muted and underused.
Yeah,
That disappointment only deepened when Thunderbolts killed her off early, erasing any opportunity to expand on her character or make her evolve more into the version from the comics. However, originally the character didn't die, as the script explored her bond with Ghost, with the two connecting over their shared pasts as experiments, raised and weaponized by
one thing I do know about the original film, the original version of this of Thunderbolts, was that in the original version, she had like a joke, it's like an ongoing joke in the movie where she kept forgetting where she was and what she was doing. So every time she forgot, she tried to fight them, and every time she tried to fight them, they tried to let her know like, "Yo, we're on the same team. You just keep forgetting that shit. We're working together." That would have been funny. That would have been funny.
secret organizations. Ghost, having already learned to assert her independence, took on a mentor-like role, helping Taskmaster rediscover her own identity and autonomy. Taskmaster's tragic backstory also grounded the team, reminding the others that no matter how dark their histories were, hers was worse, keeping their egos and self-pity in check. On the lighter side, her lingering memory issues would have been an ongoing joke, as she would have occasionally forgot she was no longer trying to kill John
Yeah, you see.
Walker, and suddenly attack him mid-conversation, forcing the group to repeatedly restrain her and remind her they were allies. After the writer's strike halted production, however, director Jake Schreier felt the film lacked tension and unpredictability. It was too bloodless, with little sense of danger or uncertainty about who might make it out alive. To raise the emotional stakes, he chose to rework Taskmaster's role, deciding she should die early in the film in a sudden,
That's
matter-of-fact
crazy.
way that would shock the audience and set the tone for what followed.
I watched the movie for like a good like I kind of knew she was like dead for good, but there was something in my head that was like, nah, give it a few. She'll come back. She gonna come back somehow. Nope, her ass is dead.
Her death was meant to resonate throughout the story, reminding viewers that no one on the team was truly safe. Although the idea of saving her death for later in the film was considered, Schreier believed that if audiences got to know her better, then her eventual death would overshadow the film's core focus, building a genuine bond between Yelena and Bob. When writer Eric Pearson finally saw the finished film, however, he was stunned. No one had told him Taskmaster would be killed off. The change
Damn.
completely blindsided him, but in hindsight, he admitted the surprise worked, since it mirrored the audience's own shock. He also suspected the decision was partly creative overlap. Both Taskmaster and Bucky were grappling with memory loss and identity issues, and removing her may have been a way to keep those arcs from feeling too similar. Originally, the film opened with Yelena confronting Valentina about ordering the Clint Barton hit. In this scene, Yelena angrily accused Valentina of manipulating her into targeting her sister's killer when, in reality, he was her best friend.
Yeah.
Valentina then would flip the script on her, arguing that she had simply paid Yelena to do a job and she didn't finish it, and that Valentina only shared the intel that Clint Barton killed Natasha to further motivate Yelena, information that ultimately
That
turned
was
out to be
crazy.
false. The exchange then shifted into a deeper discussion about Yelena's growing dissatisfaction dissatisfaction with her work and her desire to find something more meaningful, a powerful setup for her arc that was sadly lost in the final version. However, this was cut because writer Eric Pearson felt that too much time had elapsed between Thunderbolts and Black Widow and Hawkeye, and he worried casual audiences wouldn't remember what happened. Pearson had originally
I
wanted to use
guess.
Red Hulk as Thunderbolt's main villain, but Marvel Studios rejected the idea due to their existing plans to use him for Captain America.
Which I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they did that. Don't get me wrong, I like Red Hulk and Captain America, but like I liked the character, not necessarily I liked him in the movie. It just and I know I'm gonna sound like everybody else and their moms, but like that was a Hulk movie with Captain America in it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know, man. Red Hulk. Or at least what they should have done was just not spoil that shit. Not spoil that. I'm trying to say, oh yeah, but the McDonald's toys leak. Well, they shouldn't have made the toys then. They shouldn't have made the toys. I'm trying to say they should have made it to where that was like the second round of toys. That was the second batch of McDonald's toys. I'm trying to say, like, I know they have to get the toys ready ahead of the movies and shit, but like that would at least made it be like, oh shit, okay, okay. I'm trying to say, like, even though comic book fans would have saw Thaddeus Ross like wigging out, like tweaking, we would have had a feeling like, is he gonna turn to Red Hulk? But we wouldn't have known. We know he turns to the Red Hulk in the comic books, but we don't know what the fuck is gonna happen in the movie. You know what I'm trying to say? So that would have been a cool like, oh shit, I kind of knew it. I kind of knew it, but still we wouldn't have known from the jump. So yeah, they should have saved some Red Hulk for who knows? Probably not even Thunderbolts. Probably just for no, just for a Hulk film. I'm trying to say, but I don't know. I'm not Kevin Feige or Marvel Studios.
Brave New World. As a result, Pearson had originally wanted to use Red Hulk as Thunderbolt's main villain, but Marvel Studios rejected the idea due to their existing plans to use him for Captain America Brave New World. As a result, Pearson made John Walker, aka US Agent, the film's main antagonist. His storyline was dark and tragic. Valentina deceived him into thinking his super soldier serum was wearing off and gave him pills to fix it, unknowingly turning him into a ticking time bomb. As his instability grew, he became more volatile and alienated from the team, culminating in a finale where the Thunderbolts were forced to confront one of their own, choosing not to try and kill him, but to try and save him. However, around the same time, Brave New World was developing a similar storyline in which Thaddeus Ross transforms into the Red Hulk, after unknowingly taking pills from Samuel Stearns, aka the leader, that were secretly infused with gamma radiation. To avoid repeating the same idea, Thunderbolts needed to rethink its villain yet again. Pearson remembered the Sentry
Wait, wait,
miniseries.
wait. I could have been wrong. Wait, so they wait, so is he saying that Walker would have became Red Hulk? Is that what he's saying? I don't know how I feel about that. And believe it or not in a bad way. I think that would have worked somehow. I know a lot of people would have liked that shit. And that's if that's what he's saying. Yo, that's crazy. If that's what he's saying, I don't want to rewind it because I pause and rewind too much during these reactions. So I'm not. But if that's what he's saying, okay, okay, I wouldn't have mind seeing that.
Years earlier during his time in the Marvel Writers Program. Revisiting the character,
But
he
yeah,
was struck by the
let me know in
idea
the
of a
comments. That's what he
Superman-like
said.
villain who the team couldn't simply beat in a punching fight. The Sentry's duality, a shining symbol of heroism, contrasted with his dark alter ego, the Void, perfectly captured the film's core themes. To Pearson, it represented the conflict between confidence and self-doubt, and heroism and isolation. Once he realized that the team's
Damn, I'm not gonna lie. The Sentry suit kind of looks better like behind the scenes. Like it looks fire in the movie, but holy shit, I like how bright it is right here, like the yellow.
between confidence and
Look at that.
self-doubt,
Look at that.
and heroism and isolation. Once he realized that the team's emotional arcs could all be reflected within a single character, serving as both hero and antagonist, the story finally came together. Stephen Yeun, who had previously worked with director Jake Schreier on the Netflix series Beef, was originally cast as Sentry.
Great show.
As Schreier believed
Yeah,
Yeun's
I said this in one of my videos. I don't know if I posted that video to YouTube or if I'm ever going to post that video to YouTube because I think I talked about that during a video that I made that I was like, I might post it to YouTube or not. So if you know what video I'm talking about, it's because I posted it, and if you don't know, don't worry about it. What I'm trying to say is that I watched the video yesterday or the day before where I was talking about that, like how originally they wanted Steven Yeun play the Sentry, and they wanted what's that woman's name from the Bear? Oh my God, the black girl. I think her name is Ayo something. She was gonna play Mel in Thunderbolts, but some some other actor played her. But yeah, I would not have mind seeing Stephen use the Sentry. What? Dog. I think he would have killed it. I think he would have killed it.
Emotional range and intensity made it came together. Stephen Yun, who had previously worked with director Jake Schreier
Oh, and he went through costume shits too. Like um like measuring his shit and everything. Like he went that far, but he just couldn't do it. I don't remember why he couldn't do it, but hopefully he says it.
the Netflix series Beef, was originally cast as Sentry, as Schreier believed Yun's emotional range and intensity made him a
Yes.
perfect fit.
Yes.
However, strike-related production delays
Oh,
caused scheduling
okay. That's
conflicts,
what
forcing
happened.
Yun to leave
Alright.
the project, a decision he later said he was disappointed by. Marvel then cast Louis Pullman, whose
Which
quieter,
was
more
great.
introspective approach redefined the role.
Yes.
The Void, the dark realm connecting to Sentry's
Yeah. I know keep pausing it, but yeah, that's true. I feel like Steven Yeun's, I hope I'm saying his name right. His performance would have been kind of different from the actor that played Sentry in the movie. It would have been different because I felt like what he just said. The actor that ended up playing Sentry in the final version of the Thunderbolts, he was like quiet to himself. I felt like Steven Yeun would have played it with like at first him quiet, but then he would have had like this intensity. Because if you watch Beef or anything Steven Yeun is in that he has to put range, dude, this dude can go from 0 to 100 like this, and you believe that shit. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, dude, I feel like Steven Yeun's The Sentry would have been quiet, 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 and then he would have like started like going crazy when he becomes the Void compared to the actor that played him in the final version, which was like quiet, always quiet to himself, and whenever he did go crazy, it wasn't like intense. It was like physically, like he was still quiet, but just like physically going crazy. I'm trying to say Steven Yeun would have been like vocally intense and physically intense. You know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would have loved Steven Yeun's take, but I feel like I feel like if we got both versions, I would love both for their own reasons. I'm trying to say I still wish we would have got Steven Yeun's, but um, I can't remember the actor's name that played essentially in the final version. Him, he killed it too. He killed it too.
Hours went through its own evolution. Initially, Pearson wrote it as a surreal, dreamlike space, but Schreier wanted it more grounded and unsettling, inspired by being John Malkovich, turning it into maze-like shame rooms that reflected each character's inner guilt. As a result, these moments were reworked to make them more symbolic and emotionally charged. Director Jake Schreier initially wanted to include Man-Thing, who was once part of Luke Cage's Thunderbolts lineup alongside Ghost. Man-Thing is a tragic figure, once a scientist named Ted Sallis, who transformed into a swamp creature after injecting himself with the super soldier serum he was trying to recreate and crashing his car into a swamp. Afterwards, he's barely capable of speech, but possesses a terrifying power. Anyone who feels fear burns at his touch. The filmmakers explored using Man-Thing as a government asset, or as evidence of an experiment gone wrong,
That would
that
have been dope.
Valentina wanted destroyed. However, the creative team struggled to fit him into the story, before realizing that a swamp monster clashed tonally with the rest of the film.
I mean, yeah, it does, but I feel like in a way that would have been a good clash, a good clashing of tones. I'm trying to say because he could have gone through the same shit emotionally. He's just fantastical. I'm trying to say he's just a fantastical creature or character. I'm trying to say he could have still had depression instead of that. He was a human. Ted Sallis was a human who turned into a monster. You know what I'm trying to say? It could have worked. Yeah, it would have clashed, but I feel like it would have been a good clash. You know what I'm trying to say? Like how even though he's a monster, like physically he changed and everything. Like I'm trying to say his looks, like that's still emotional because he was once human. I'm trying even if he wasn't human, it still makes sense. I'm trying to say because he's a monster. He feels like a monster. People look at him like a monster. You know what I'm trying to say? So like, let's say Ted Sallis wasn't a character; it was his man thing. I'm trying to say it would have worked. But yeah, with it being a human though, for sure would have worked. Come on.
especially since Thunderbolts already featured another extraordinary character in Sentry. Having both would have drawn too much attention away from Sentry's transformation and emotional arc. The filmmakers also felt that including a swamp monster risked inviting comparisons to Suicide Squad's Killer Croc, making Thunderbolts feel less distinct from DC's ensemble anti-hero film. Bucky also wasn't originally part of the team or in the film at all. The story originally focused on Valentina's recruits, Yelena, Ghost, Taskmaster, and John Walker, as a group of anti-heroes forced to work together under her control. Bucky's inclusion is supposed to serve a few important purposes. His part as a brainwashed assassin connected him to the other shared trauma, making him a natural fit. He also gave the story a familiar face linking Thunderbolts to the MCU. However, Bucky was originally written as a washed-up public figure, being used by politicians as a promotional tool, the political equivalent of hiring a retired athlete to shake hands at a car wash. At first, it seemed like a humiliating fall from grace, suggesting Bucky had sold out and lost his purpose. However, it would later be revealed that this was all part of an undercover mission. He had infiltrated the world of politics and commerce to investigate Valentina, working alongside a
Not that I like that. I like the fact that they didn't be like, no, my boy already went through it. I'm trying to say he's already been down the gutter. Hell no. He been through it enough. Let him have some happiness. Even though this wasn't like happiness, still he was still like he was the one that enlisted Thunderbolts with like a purpose. I'm trying to say, so I like that they changed that. I like that they changed that.
congressman who secretly served as his ally before eventually going on the hunt. After Pearson left the project, Feige suggested that Barnes should be a congressman instead. Bill Foster, played by Lawrence Fishburne in Ant-Man and the Wasp, was also set to join the team in the final act, even getting a classic Goliath moment that paid tribute to his comic book counterpart, the giant-sized hero who gained his powers by synthesizing Hank Pym's particles. The film would have explored the dynamic between Foster and Alexei, two older men acting as unlikely father figures to Ghost and Yelena, respectively. However, Foster's subplot was ultimately cut because his character didn't share the same kind of deep-rooted trauma that thematically connected the rest of the team. Zemo was also close to appearing in the movie. One early draft included a post-credits scene showing him in prison, quietly observing Valentina's new team and hinting that he'd been orchestrating events from behind the scenes, a fitting nod to his comic book origins.
That would have been cool.
Was the one who assembled the Thunderbolts. Pearson envisioned Zemo as a Kaiser Soze-like figure, manipulating everything from the shadows. However, the idea was ultimately scrapped, as the filmmakers felt it just felt like fan service. Originally, Pearson wanted the film to take place in a single location, a massive underground prison called the Vault. The idea was to trap the team together, forcing them to work with or against one another. Pearson described it as Die Hard meets The Breakfast Club, high tension mixed with character bonding, giving them a bunch of team-building exercises to escape. He wanted to avoid repeating Suicide Squad, which had been done twice and featured an authority figure taking criminals and sending them on a mission. However, Marvel worried it felt too contained for a big screen superhero film, and asked Pearson to expand the scope.
From the jump, even now, people still compare this to the Suicide Squad. Not in similar in story, but like in the characters of like, a group of criminals come together to do something bigger than themselves. I'm trying to say. So what I'm trying to say is that they should just like fuck it. They're gonna compare either way. I'm trying to say. But hey, what do I know? Look at it. They did all that trying to not be like the Suicide Squad, and they did good. They didn't make that much at the box office, but critically, and the fans loved it. So
the later versions added new settings, multiple missions, and broader stakes. Regardless, Thunderbolts ultimately became a very different kind of superhero film, one that traded spectacle for introspection. What began as a high-concept Die Hard-style thriller evolved into a grounded story about trauma, identity, and redemption. And while it ultimately delivered a powerful message about broken people finding strength in one another, Thunderbolts struggled to connect with mainstream audiences, its quieter, more reflective tone proving a tough sell in a genre built on...
Hey, I said fans. I did say critically too, but yeah.
Spectacle. Thanks for watching, everybody, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of Hollywood's untold stories and unmade movies.
Yeah, I heard it, man. If I want to watch more of his videos without me pausing and rewinding so much, just go ahead. His channel is called Bullet and Blockbusters. But yeah, all right. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all preferred this version or y'all like the version that we got, the final version that we got. But yeah, hold up. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. All right. Deuces.